Good morning, Jade, and welcome back to the Carb Paleo show.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Absolutely, it's our pleasure. You were a very nice and fun guest last time, so we like that. Bonjour, Monsieur Marc.
Bonjour, Monsieur Alain. Comment ça va, mon petit?
Ça va, mon grand?
Excellent.
Okay, that's it for the French lesson for today.
That's finished, yes.
Right. So back to you, Jade. Thank you for coming back to our show and talk about your COVID-19 experience. Could you give us a quick reminder about who you are and your background and what you do these days?
Yeah, I'm Jade, and my background, career-wise, for the last 14 years have worked in the wellness field, specifically in holistic health, massage therapy, and as well as ketogenic consulting and soon to be yoga as well. But my background really stems farther back than that to when I was younger, when I was diagnosed with epilepsy, and that kind of put me on a path to holistic wellness and understanding how our life and our environments impact our well-being. So figuring out how to work with people. So I took that life experience of learning to live with a lifelong diagnosis and kind of utilized it as a career to help others find overall wellness.
Cool.
Yeah.
So how have you handled this whole confinement situation?
You know, I'm not really a fan of the word confinement because I feel like confinement it's more in the mind than in the body per se. So I've handled it, I'd say, fairly well. Honestly, I've enjoyed the downtime. My body is enjoying the fact that it got a break from massage because that's very strenuous on the body. But I think I've enjoyed it. I've utilized it to do things and find personal growth and learn more about myself and what it means to be alone and feel alone in the world. So I honestly, I saw it as a unique gift. As crazy as everything that was going on and all the fear and worry, I tried to find some silver lining in it.
Right. It's not always easy. I think from what I hear, one of the biggest problem with this situation is, by the way, some people call it house arrest.
Yes.
Right. One of the biggest problem is the risk for depression, loneliness. And I have to say that some days I feel like I could be able to go see my buddies and hang out. I'm not much of a party guy. I'm more of an introvert, which is helping me in this situation. I don't really need to be around people, but once a week, a couple of times a week to play pétanque with my friends or play ping pong, which used to be my routine. So I miss that for sure. And it's during the week I stay busy because I found something else to do. But during the weekend it's a little harder,
I agree with that. During the week, for some reason, I feel better during the week. Like I can feel active and do things, but come the weekend, it's a lot of dead time, just sitting,
Yeah.
Because I think we usually, as people, like to go out on the weekend and interact. Because majority of people work up, normal 9 to 5. I never have, but the weekends are like, you do fun things. It's just kind of written in society and culture. And the fact that we can't, I definitely agree with you. The weekends are like, what am I doing?
I just don't know. I just don't know what to do with myself on weekends typically. But on the other hand, in Austin, we're lucky because we haven't really been under very hard confinement rules.
No.
We can still go out. We can still go to the park or to the lake or whatever is your nature. It seems like also notice that a lot of people are seeing to reconnect with the nature and spending more time, right?
Yes, I mean, I don't know if you've even noticed what's happening to nature. There's more birds. You can hear things differently. I was just hearing how certain wildlife are starting to come back, which is interesting. Right. So I spend a lot of time outdoors, whether it's working on I call it my porch garden. I started that up with all my herbs and stuff because I like creating a lot of things with herbs. Yeah. Or doing yard work or taking the dogs, for a run. But nature is just an awesome way to reconnect, I think, for people, and a way to ground themselves. I love walking around barefoot outside, even though you never know in Texas because of all the bugs. But
and the snake and a friend of mine. And a friend of mine just found a scorpion in his helmet. He's putting his helmet on. It just fell. So like you say, nature is coming back. So be careful out there still. I do have to admit that I am lucky in a certain way because there's a swimming pool in my complex. So I've been going to the swimming pool every day, just get some sun, read a book, get my mind off of things. So and it gives me vitamin D, sunny vitamin Ds. So I have never been so tan in my life. So that's the silver lining of it.
Good.
So going back to you personally, considering your condition, have you changed anything, improved anything? You probably continue the same diet, right?
Oh yeah. I still continue the same diet. I think. Well, what exactly you mean? Just in relation to my epilepsy?
Yes.
Not much. I mean, much has changed during these few months. I've been seizure free since September of this last year. So nothing's really changed in that aspect, and there hasn't been an impact in relation to the pandemic to how I feel. I mean, yes, stress and stuff, but.
Right, I was a little more concerned the fact that you being alone, there was no one around you to help you in case you had a crisis.
Oh, well, I mean, I have a housemate that lives with me, so I'm good like that, and I have an amazing network of neighbors. My next door neighbors, they're retired, and just the other day, one of them, I heard the wife say, "Where's Jade been? I haven't seen her." And he's like, "She's right there," because she was worried about me. They watch over me. So I have them. And then around the block, I got in the habit during the pandemic of walking every evening with one of my neighbors. We would go out for long walks. Because I've basically been out of work. She was considered essential, so she still got to work. But just connecting with the people around me, and then the neighbors across the street. One of them works at Costco, so he was bringing food when I needed it if I didn't want to go to the store. So definitely have a support system here. It's different than my family, but it's a support system.
Right. Good for you. Good for you. So in fact, your professional situation adds more stress because you're not bringing income, and how do you handle that? I mean, it's got to be difficult and stressful.
Yeah, I mean, I have this feeling in life, or this understanding with the world, that it provides what we need when we need it, and that's been happening. That I've also made it a point to start, I hate to use this word because everybody's using it, but pivot. So I've been moving a lot of my services more online. Yeah. So doing things like practical self-massage sessions with clients versus the hands-on, since we used to social distancing. And things like I just I'm finishing up my yoga certification. I've been practicing for 22 years, but I decided to get certified so I've been teaching online, doing that. So different, you know, it's just I'm accepting that things are changing, and I think it's very hard for us to do that, but we can grieve what we're going to lose, but we can also try to change the direction of things. So, you know, I started teaching a lot of meditation because I utilize that to help with stress and worry, but I know it'll all work out.
Okay, good. So, can you, I mean, I understand there's a practice involved. No, probably not with yoga. I guess yoga certification is not as hard as massage therapist certification, right?
It depends on who you ask, but since
Right.
I've been in the field for 14 years, I already have a solid understanding of the body structure and muscles and stuff. So I'm finding the training very easy, and the lifestyle I live and the philosophies I live by are very similar because I've already been practicing yoga for 22 years. So I find it's an easy transition, and it's fun for me. It's like I'm relearning some things you forget when you study something for years, whether it's the body, but then you go to the different angle. So looking at it from a movement angle versus just massaging muscles, it's kind of having a different light shining on it. So because I know people that are in the online class that are struggling with it, because the anatomy can be very hard, but I think in comparison to me, the yoga certification is a little easier than my massage. Definitely.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
From my perspective.
Do you expect to, when this is all over, do you expect to go work for a yoga studio or independently, or how do you plan to do?
I'm not really sure what's going to happen. The one thing about this whole experience right now with the pandemic is I'm not planning anything. I'm not planning, 1 week at a time is about all I can plan now. I have ideas. I would love to teach more private classes, one-on-one stuff, but also maybe a studio would be nice at some point. But I'm not saying one way or another which way it's going to go, because I want to make sure that I'm open to any opportunity that presents itself. I think that's what this whole experience is, having people reevaluate things and what's important.
Yeah, a friend of mine, besides my own yoga teacher, a friend of mine also is a yoga teacher, and she's tried online classes. My teacher is doing online classes. So in a way that helps, but I guess it's not quite the same to be with your students, in the same room and being able to correct and help them. And
and that's the thing, is we're doing this because we have to, right? But there's a disconnect. Even though people feel connected with social media and being able to connect it's a different way, but it's not the way I wish to connect with people in the world. I love more human connection, face to face.
Right. Well, like we are social animals. There's no way around it. Even for an old introvert like me.
Yes.
I still need a little bit of human connection.
Yeah. So, and definitely.
Go ahead.
No, you're good.
Okay. I'm just trying to be good.
Everybody, did you hear that? He's trying.
Yeah. Well, it's better than some people. They already think they're good, so I'm still working on it. It's a work in progress.
Work in progress, exactly.
Work in progress, yeah. Going back to your diet, what would you advise other keto people out there, whether they have your condition or not? What's your advice on when you're stuck at home? What do you recommend? We already sort of address exercise. What other recommendations do you have for that?
You mean specifically for how to eat at home?
Well, there's that, and also whether the health recommendation we have in general health. I'm trying not to lead you, but
Okay, so
exercise, sleep, diet.
you want to know what I'm doing kind of to take care of myself.
No,
So,
me. I want to know what you recommend to other people because I'm not keto, I'm paleo. But
okay.
for what would you recommend?
Keto is what works for me. And I'm
Yeah.
not one to say that anybody has to eat a certain way. But if I were to give any advice, especially in relation to the current situation of where we're at, eat less sugar. Fuel yourself more properly with the things that serve you. From a keto perspective, it's higher fat. It's better for the brain function, at least on my end. But keep your food clean and simple, and get your healthy vegetables that you like, and increase your fats, and make sure you stock up on things that you might not be able to go to the store as much. So, and keep it simple. So that's kind of how I follow things. I still do exactly the same things I've always done. I still prep my food every week and do it that way. But I don't like to tell people there has to be one way to eat food.
No, but you can always make recommendations, suggestions, recommendations.
Yeah. I mean, my biggest recommendation is always just cut your sugar out.
Right.
That's like my biggest go-to, because sugar it's like throwing a wet blanket over your brain. And if you're struggling with anxiety and depression, that's only going to cause more problems for you.
Well, there's a problem there because a lot of people are stuck at home. They go to food for comfort. And I've seen a lot of posting on Facebook of people, complaining they're gaining weight, they're eating too much, blah, blah, blah. So for some people, it's very hard to...
Well, and that's evaluate coping mechanisms.
Yeah.
Food is not a coping mechanism.
Well,
it is for some people, but it has unhealthy repercussions for it. And I understand we all need to do what we need to do and we can only handle what we can handle. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying if people are saying, I'm gaining weight, I don't feel good, this doesn't fit, or I feel run down, then they need to evaluate what they're doing, because what they're doing isn't working. So maybe instead of eating that candy or making that overly huge cake, maybe make the cake and only eat a small piece of it and share the rest with your neighbors, or throw it in the trash, or go for a walk instead, or start a garden, or read a book, or just get up and move around. It's finding different things, because everybody's different. It's, I'm not going to sit here and say, you're bad for doing this and this, because that's not what it's about. It's about listening to what your body needs. And if you're not happy with something, it's because you're not giving your body what it needs.
The problem with that is that in stressful situation, your body needs, it's telling you, I want more. I want more sugar. I want more comfort, more everything. So it takes a strong mind to resist that and to stick to. Not to mention the fact that typically we exercise less, we move less, so we tend to accumulate more, even if you stay on that. So I made a point to reduce my calorie intake, because I know I'm basically sitting all day long, pretty much. I mean, besides yoga and a little bit of walking here and there. So it's an issue that could be a problem for some people.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I won't lie. When we first went into this, I was like, I do not know what to do with myself. So what I started doing every day is picking 3 tasks. Didn't matter what they were. I wrote them down on a piece of paper, and if I accomplished them, and I'd spread them out through the day, then it felt like I did something. And I started creating structure in my day, because our whole life is built around our work, right? Our structure of our life. But the moment your work is taken away, a lot of people feel like their purpose and their worth is taken away.
Yeah.
So you have to create something new. And I vacillated between how I felt about everything. But what I did for myself was I signed up for a few different online trainings. I searched for free trainings online. I mean, Yale was doing a happiness training for free. There's been a lot of free things and extremely low cost things to access. And then I literally created an outline for each day, like I was back teaching preschool again. We do this when we wake up, and we just go through that till it just became a new way of spending my day, and not waiting to see if we were going to go back to the way things were. I decided each day to create my day. So if creating the day means sitting in front of Netflix and eating, that's okay. And if you're okay with that, that's okay. But if you're not, then it might mean re-examining, journaling the feelings. Why is it hard to keep away from the fridge? And what can you do? We use the time however we want, and there's no wrong way to do it. If laying on the couch, it feels good, that's a beautiful action. That's still an action. So,
Yeah.
there we go.
Okay.
Okay, I'm done. I'm getting off my soapbox.
No. You've been very kind in your proposals. Trying to find. We've talked a little about yoga. You walk every day.
Mm-hmm.
Any other recommendation when it comes to general behavior?
Movement and exercise stuff, or
Yeah.
just well, I mean, this is another thing, yard work. I mean,
Yeah.
if you were thinking about doing something, and if you do have the funds to do a little bit of something, do yard work. So I've been doing that at least weekly. If you want to work out, but you don't have all of the supplies, you could ask in a Facebook group or your neighborhood next door app if you could borrow hand weights. There's plenty of YouTube videos for working out. That's another thing. Yeah, but it's literally walk the dog for me every morning for 2 hours. I take the dogs out. And then yoga, an hour and a half each day. So I think those are the things. I think people need to find what they like to do and get out, or just walk, because you're going to learn a lot about your neighborhood the more you go out in it. I definitely.
That's another silver lining. It seems like because of that situation, we seem to want to connect more with your neighbors and people close by. I always told my son, when stuff hit the fan, don't count on the government to come and save you. Count on your neighbors to help you.
Yeah, and that's been a beautiful thing to watch. Just neighbors helping each other, offering things up, checking in on each other. It's like one of the places I work at, they created a little grocery store in our break room. So you can go in and get food when you need it. And everybody contributes different things. And then a while back, when some of the food, they had butternut squash, and they had some other things that were starting to go bad, I went in and grabbed everything and made this old recipe I used to make 10 years ago for everybody, butternut squash burritos. And then I made them carrot cake cupcakes. And because we had carrots that were going bad. So, and then we all contribute what we can. So
That's another
really
thing
awesome.
we haven't mentioned, but you just did, is some people actually enjoy cooking and baking, so they keep busy doing that. And then they spread the good stuff out there.
Yeah, and I've been doing a lot of it, and it's been nice. Like, I love when, like, I have to eat a certain way, but other people don't eat the same way. But I still have all my old recipes from 15 years ago, and I was able to pull a lot of them out and make them, and it was awesome making that stuff for everybody. So
yeah, and also there's you know, giving goodies like this kind of you know, again, connect people, and you know, there's a connection around food always.
yes.
What this complex has done is there's a mini library at the mailbox. Somebody put a few shelves, and people are putting books that they have done reading, so that someone else can take advantage of them and read. Also, someone opened up a Facebook page just for this complex, so people can connect over that. So, you know, stuff is happening.
Yes. Yeah,
Yes.
it definitely is. And I think it's great. It makes people re-examine what they were doing and how they're going about life, and learning to be more present, I think. So.
Yeah. What's interesting is, although I'm still mad at the fact that our government is basically forcing us to stay home, which there's all sorts of legal issues and rights and so on, but it also kind of forced people to sit and reevaluate their life and make you know, kind of meditate or thought about, okay, what is really important in life? You know, is it going out getting drunk you know, every week, or party like there's no tomorrow? Or is it reconnecting with your neighbors and eating healthy food, or, you know, going back to nature or so on?
Yeah, I'm in no rush to go back to the things I used to do. I'm quite content with less.
Right. Well, I also switched. I lost my job as a Uber and Lyft driver because it was becoming risky. And at first, you know, I was a little upset, but then I found something to do online that keeps me busy 6 hours a day during the week. And I'm learning new skills, you know, online new skills. And I realized that once I set up my routine, like you said, you know, I have a kind of a work / breaks routine now. The day goes by really fast.
Yeah, it does.
So back to you. What I would ask you is, how do you improve your immune system to protect yourself from that virus?
Well, one, of course, keep distance from people. The less contact, the better. But getting plenty of sleep is one of the big ones. Getting to bed and sticking to that routine. Drinking plenty of water, and keeping my gut healthy, because if my gut's healthy, immune system's healthy, which that usually means me making my batch of kimchi. And then getting outside in the fresh air and being active and keeping a regular routine. And then I take, you know, vitamin C and elderberry tincture. They're good for the immune system. So I did that when this all started, but a lot of all the other stuff I mentioned, it's what I do to keep myself healthy in general. So I just kept continuing to be consistent. And I think that's kind of where we're at, is being consistent with what is working for us.
Right. Well, that's why we have you on the shows, for your wise advice.
Okay. Why, when you say that, I don't believe you.
No. Let's be nice. I'm giving you a compliment here.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So you mentioned vitamin C. Is I've been doing elderberry gummies. Is tincture better?
So my elderberry tincture is made by a friend in Canada. She has her own elderberry bushes, so she makes it all herself. But I think the difference between the gummies and the tinctures is usually the gummies have other ingredients, but I don't know what's in yours, so that might be questionable. But with a tincture, it is more absorbed because it doesn't really have to break down anything. There's no sugars or gummy stuff that the digestive system needs to break down. So
How do you use it?
how do I use it?
Yeah.
I just usually do a dropper full in the morning and at night. If I'm actually don't feel well, like if I have a cold or something, I up it, or during the winter, I up it a little bit more.
So when you say drop a full in a glass of water or under the tongue?
I usually do it under the tongue and then with a shot of water.
Okay.
I'd rather just get it over with because it is not like yummy or anything. So,
yeah, that's true. The gummies are yummy because they're like candies, right? They're sweet. Yeah, but yeah. So I guess after the show, I'll ask you the connection with this person to get the tincture, or if it's okay with you, you can share that on the show.
She doesn't actually sell it. She's just a friend. She makes it for her friends. She doesn't actually have a shop or anywhere that she sells it.
I see.
She just makes huge batches for her family, and I get included in that yearly shipment.
Okay. You're a lucky girl.
I am lucky. I am beyond lucky because most of the elderberry I see out in the stores has sugar in it, and has other things in it. So
yes, they do. The one I'm getting has alcohol sugar, so it's not quite as bad.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. We kind of already went over that, but do you have any personal stories you can share about, personal connections? You mentioned your neighbors caring and all that.
Yeah.
Any other?
It's mostly, just been my neighbors and friends, people offering up things like the whole work thing that I explained. So there's nothing more than those things. I think, I've kind of already mentioned. It's just people coming
it's
out.
One thing that sorry, my brain just went poof. Senior moment. It'll come back to me eventually after the show, I'm sure. So we're starting to get out of confinement progressively. Do you have a particular way to handle that? Are you like super careful, or are you a little paranoid around people? I mean, I know a lot of people out there like, oh my God, you have to wear the mask or you're gonna, infect everybody around you, blah, blah, blah. And I have a pretty clear opinion on that personally. I'd like to hear yours.
Oh, you want my opinion on face masks?
No, when you go out, how do you handle being around people and so on and so forth?
I keep my bubble small. Even though I love chatting with people and connecting with people, I'm kind of like you. I'm a highly functioning introvert. So when I go out, I have a few set friends that I do see, and we practice social distancing when we're together, but we get together and chat. I have one friend, we've just started doing this the last couple weeks as things, because when it comes to the confinement or whatever, I say, as we're coming out of this, proceed with caution and listen to your comfort level. What makes you comfortable? Because we can't make everybody wear a mask. We can't make anybody do anything for that matter, but you need to do what feels good for you. So what feels good for me is when I leave my house, I have a mask on. I do not care what other people think. I know for myself, part of it is protecting me from other people, but also it's one more barrier to whatever could be out there. And if it is only just a mental one, in the sense of making me feel safe, I'm okay to do it, and I feel more comfortable. And it's a way of showing, in essence, support, that I understand we have an issue. And so I do that for myself, and then who I spend time with, it's only a select full of people, maybe 3 people. I don't have any intentions to go back to huge gatherings or any of that stuff, or go to restaurants or anything like that right now, because we don't quite know where this is going, and time will only tell. And I would rather continue to take things slowly and listen to my comfort level and observe what is happening before just jumping in. You know, life, there's no rush. There's no rush.
Right. You promise not to beat me up if I tell you how I do it?
You can tell me how you do it. I'm not going to beat you up.
I know you live in Austin, you know how to find me, so.
I'm sure if I want to find you, I can find you, but I don't
Okay.
even think you need to tell me. I probably already know, because I know your attitude.
Okay. What attitude? I'm a nice guy.
You are.
All right, here's my position.
Okay.
When out and about, not in a confined area, that is not in a store, not in a, you know, if I'm out walking in nature or whatever, I do not wear a mask. I don't see a point. And there's also potential health repercussion because you keep on re-inhaling your CO2. And if by any chance or malchance you catch something, you're more likely to stay within your breathing cycle and reinfect you, which I personally, you know, I don't want to do that. But on the other hand, which I keep on explaining to my friends on Facebook, it's like, you can do whatever you want, but don't tell me what to do. And what I do is when I go into a store, then I put the mask on.
Yep.
And it's not because I'm afraid of other people, because I'm not. I have a strong immune system. I take care of it. I build it up. But out of respect, I just put the mask on, and that's it. And if someone gets a little too close, I tell them to back off, and that's about it.
I would love to see that, because that's the problem I have, is why I wear one all the time. I find wearing the mask keeps people away from me in general, because most people, they're inconsiderate. That's what I've found. They, even in stores, it's just like, what part of 6 feet don't you get? Do we need to have like a, elementary lesson in this? It's frustrating. So that's why I try to protect myself as much as possible, because I can't control what other people do.
Yeah,
we can't control anything.
No, a couple of weeks ago, there was a big old burly guy, literally looking over my shoulder. And I turned around and said, get the, out of my face. Literally it was like breathing over my shoulder.
Yeah.
And I say, hey, buddy, could you, back off? Because this is not good. This is not safe. Back off.
Right.
Luckily, he didn't beat me up. He just backed off and apologized and backed up. He was not, this is another thing we need to take into consideration, is a lot of people are not necessarily not considerate. They're just not aware. They just don't pay attention.
Yeah. And that's the thing that really opened my eyes. Like, I'm always watching people and observing, but even in the midst of this, I notice how unaware people are just in what they're doing all the time. Whether, to me, I'm looking around constantly, even more so now, because I want to gauge where people are, because I can't control how close they're going to get to me, but I can control how I move around. So,
yeah. So I've noticed on a couple of things. A couple of things that were funny. The other one was not so funny. But in Florida, beaches are packed full. So that's possibly the negative side of it. I saw a picture of in New York. There's a park where they actually drew 6 feet circles. Right, where people, they just sit on the grass and they, suntan, whatever. But there's a circle around them to let people know, don't you breach my circle, right, my bubble.
Right.
Another one, I was also a posting of, there's a restaurant somewhere, I don't remember exactly where, that created this 6 feet wide. Think about, okay, what do you call these, when you go down the San Marcos River, what's the name of those?
Oh, the inner tubes?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
they have a 6-foot round inner tube, right, on wheels,
Okay.
with the little tablet built in, so you can put your drink on, and you just walk into the restaurant with that around you to protect yourself. It's kind of a bumper cars like in in the fairs.
Yeah.
So you bump into people, but you're not getting. I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
That's one thing you can always count on is people creativity in situations.
Definitely. Yeah, I think and people find humor in it too, because it softens the discomfort that we're all in too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's because not everybody sees the world the same way and approaches this the same way. And we have to learn to be respectful of people's fears or people that are fine and think nothing is wrong. And we have to really learn to be respectful in that. And what I'm learning is I just have to worry about me. Do what feels good and right for me and try to just be respectful of other people's approaches and take care of me. So.
Okay, now for the tough guy, Mark.
The tough guy. I'm getting a bad reputation here, I say. Obviously, we're getting to the point where many places are coming out of this period of separation, if we can't call it confinement. You've mentioned briefly how you're handling that. Do you have any sort of tips for other people to have a smooth transition back to whatever the new normal is going to be?
One of the big things is don't have any expectations for anything being the same as it was. And to practice some patience with yourself and other people as we kind of figure out what this looks like and feels like, because it's going to change. That's the only constant in life is change. So this will constantly be evolving and changing. And I think the other thing advice I'd give is people move forward and whatever they're doing, try to find whatever silver lining, what good you had in that downtime, and maybe hang on to what you learned during that time and take it into wherever you move in your life. And to keep in mind that we could all very well be back right here sitting in our homes in the fall. Like, we don't know, that nothing is certain. So you just do the best that you can each day and be gentle and kind to people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you've actually sort of preempted my second question somewhat.
Okay.
We are constantly being reminded, frightened, and or cajoled into expecting a second wave.
Yes.
Obviously, one of the best ways of coping with that is to get healthy and stay healthy.
Yeah.
How would you recommend people approach that?
That is a hard one to answer.
I am the difficult one, don't forget.
It's one of those things where I guess I could tell people what I think they need to do, but the reality is the healthier we are, the better our immune systems are, the less likely these things are going to happen, right? Whether we keep our weight under control, less diabetes, all of these things that compromise our health. So if people spent more time finding ways to move, honestly, if we worked less and enjoyed life more, we'd probably feel better, because at least here in the States, it's work yourself to death and then hopefully you can retire. So, but, eating healthy, and I guess, yes, do I believe wholeheartedly in the ketogenic diet or a low carb diet, or paleo approach? Definitely. The less junk we put in our system, the better it runs. So if people were thinking about wanting to exercise and eat healthy, it might be time to start looking at that, because it could be an investment in building your immune system for whatever's ahead for us, because this will happen again. It's inevitable at some point. Doesn't mean it's going to happen in the fall. I don't know when it's going to happen, but these are cycles, nature's cycles. These things happen, but I know a lot of people have other opinions of why we're the way we are. But I think, you know, there's illnesses, no matter what they are, diseases, they happen because they weed out the weak, really.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it's nature.
And the best defense is to support, increase your immune system. You know,
Yes.
it starts with the gut. So, you know, take care of your gut. Like you said before, eliminate sugar as much as possible. Sugar is the enemy. You know, add additional, like I did. I added a few vitamins. Typically, my diet is healthy, and my you know, I take blue-green algae and besides all of this, and essential oils and so on. But if we okay, let me just finish. And
You go ahead.
If you in order to stop being in fear or living in fear because they tell us that it's going to come back and blah blah blah, which I believe is just, you know, meant to keep you scared so you stay confined and so on and so forth. The best way to defend yourself or to stop living in fear is to protect yourself through healthy living and in increasing your immune system. Sorry for the, go ahead.
No, you're good. No, when you mentioned essential oils, I just thought of Thieves oil.
Which one?
Thieves.
Thieves, okay.
For immune system stuff. And they used it during the Spanish plague, I think, a lot. So it's a combination of, anyway, I diffuse that in my house a lot.
Right, okay.
Antibacterial type stuff, so.
Okay. How do you spell that for the people out there?
Thief, like a thief that steals.
Okay. Is that so? Thieves.
Yeah.
VS. Is that three thieves or just thieves?
Just thieves.
And that's something you can find at any
You
supplement.
can probably get it. It's just a thieves oil. It's an essential oil. I mean, heck, you could even type it into Amazon. That's where I ordered mine from. So.
Okay. All right. Good advice. I've been taking oregano essential oil. Yeah. As an antiviral. Doesn't taste great.
No.
Kind of yucky, but it's antiviral and you know, also support the immune system. Sorry,
I got another one, Mark, and then we'll go right back to you. Frankincense oil, essential oil. If you put a drop on, if you have a migraine or a headache, you put a drop on your thumb and then rub it on the roof of press it to the roof of your mouth and then rub it a bit. That'll help lessen any headaches, if anybody's having headaches.
Yeah, I've been taking frankincense as a prevention for cancer.
Nice.
My dad died of cancer, so I'm careful about not getting it or catching it or whatever. Mark, sorry.
That's okay. No, I think we've covered sort of my two of my three questions. The first one was already answered during what you were chatting about with Alan, so I'm good.
You're good? Okay.
Yeah, just for change.
So for people that want to know more about you and your services, how do they find you?
They can go to my website, just my name, jadenelson.net. And then on Instagram and Facebook, you just look under The Train Inside Me. And I'm there doing all kinds of stuff.
Cool.
Yeah.
Any other advice? Anything that just pops to mind?
Just a reminder again to be gentle with yourself as we transition back into life, and be gentle with those around you. Just be kind and gentle, because we have no idea what everybody else is feeling and going through, and we all process this differently. So it's best to try to support each other the best way we can with gentleness.
Thank you very much for this advice. I needed a little reminder. the thing is, and I think that's what I was trying to say, and then the thing is, a lot of people, mostly older people, but also younger ones, they are, let's say how can I put it? The virus is just an additional load on the unhealthy body. So if you already have cancer, diabetes, overweight, high blood pressure, and so on and so forth, and you catch the virus on top of that, because your immune system is already compromised, it's probably going to hit you hard. Mm-hmm. So, it goes back to your advice earlier that you got to take care of yourself, because the system is not, all they're going to do is pump you with drugs and vaccines that could make things even worse. That's a whole nother discussion there, right?
Yes.
Right. And so, and that's I feel, and this is gut feeling, but I feel that them, meaning the media and some of the highly placed people, are trying to keep us scared so that we give enough time for pharmaceutical companies to develop vaccines so they can vaccine all of us and get rich off of it. So that's just my opinion.
That's many of the many possibilities of what's going on. Yes, there's
right.
Always, when it comes to things like this, it always comes down to money in the end.
Yeah, yeah.
Really, money and power. Money and power.
Especially when you go higher in the stratosphere of the rich and the powerful. Yes. Okay. Ready for the close or anything else?
Oh, I think that's it. It's been fun.
Okay. Here, my famous closing. It's becoming famous, by the way. At least Mark tells me.
Oh, yeah, definitely. You hear it all over Texas now.
Yeah. Thank you again, Jade, for being on the Low Carb Paleo Show. And as we say in Texas, à votre santé, yo.
It still makes me smile, though, every time he says it.